We have 11 separate defendants for last pretrials beginning in just a few minutes at 1:30. The kids are all right. The kids are all right.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Yep. Chris is going to email that to you right now, Luke.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we've got your case, Teresa Jones, but there are actually three of them, and we've got the special prosecutor and the other two that I thought they were set for today.
I think they're
But-
12.
Are they set for tomorrow? I thought they were
Yeah,
last.
No, their attorney pretrial set for tomorrow.
Oh, they're attorney pretrials.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought they were last pretrial, so I set Sam on a wild goose chase. And as you know, she's got other matters as well. This is filed, let me turn on the record. 202421, People versus Teresa Jones. This is a disorderly person charge in the city of Three Rivers. Ms. Jones has about 5 things set. Apparently she has 2 attorney pretrials for tomorrow with a special prosecutor. This is a disorderly person case which allegedly occurred last October in the city of Three Rivers. She missed several dates. I don't think she absconded. I think she just had so many cases she couldn't keep them all straight. Do you have contact with her now, Luke?
I haven't had contact with her for some time, but mailed her notice. Yeah.
So she's not here. You guys got my email on Tyrone Valentine?
Chris says that another case just came in last night. She's
Yeah,
struggling
it
to
did.
try to put it all together for us.
He got 3 total. The prosecutor declined 1, and there were 2 ordinance ones. So we'll deal with him a little bit later. I did ask the jail to hold on to him, so we're actually gonna be able to talk to him here in a bit.
Okay.
Well, so Luke's had no contact with the defendant, and she did not appear.
Could I propose something? Because John and I spoke about it. And
Yes.
if I can try and get a hold of her and she has a couple cases tomorrow, if we put the plea offer on the record, could she take it? And if she appears
Yes.
tomorrow morning?
Well, yes. What's the plea offer, John?
Just plead guilty to the disorderly person disturbing the peace. We would recommend no jail. We know that that's not binding, but nobody was hurt. In other words, as far as we know, she didn't assault anybody, so it's just a simple disturbing the peace charge.
All right, I have to hold 48 hours before I can do a bench warrant.
Or is that pursuant to the new rules?
Yes. See if defendant appears tomorrow. As I indicated, she misses quite a bit, but I don't believe she's gone anywhere. I think she's still living in the same house in Three Rivers. She just isn't tracking real straight, and she's got a lot of dates. So let's set it aside for a minute. Um, and next you've got Medina Brand. She did get arrested, but then I think she bonded out.
Your Honor, can I bail out then and come back in an hour for Tyrone?
Yes. Hey, John, I just wanted to tell you, I'm finishing Tom Springer's new book, and I really enjoyed the chapter about you and Jane and your family and the
That was quite a
Starter and
surprise.
You know, I enjoyed his first book, Looking for Hickories, and I like this one too. But I had to wait till Sally was done before I could read it.
Yeah, it's very good. That was a surprise. He came over because he was hired by a big grant to do research on lakescaping, native plantings on lake shores to try to restore native lake shores to Michigan inland lakes. And he had come to see us amongst a whole bunch of other people 2 years ago, and he had a professional photographer that usually does National Geographic work that was doing all the photo shoots for it, and he couldn't come with him that day. So he just stayed for a couple hours, took a lot of notes, and then said, I'll come back with the photographer. Well, he never did get the photographer back. So he couldn't put that into the chapter of the book that he was doing about lakeshore landscaping. So he just kept it out and made it a chapter in this other book that he was doing.
Have you read the book?
Pardon me?
Have you read the book?
Yes, we have. We've very much enjoyed it. He has such a droll sense of humor, and I like his sensibilities.
Well, it's like a guy that wrote a book about your own neighborhood, but
He reminds me of that Tom Bodette, you know, we'll leave the lights on for you kind of guy.
well, Tom Bodette graduated from Sturgis the same year you and I graduated from our respective high schools.
And then he was doing Michigan National Public Radio spots when we were living here. And then when I moved up to Alaska in summer of '85, then we started to hear him on public radio there, and he moved to Alaska and started doing public radio stuff for them.
Yeah, the end of the road radio show.
Yep, from
All right,
Homer.
well, you're off the hook anyway. I enjoyed the chapter about you.
Thank you. I'll see you in about an hour.
All right.
All right. Bye, Lou.
See you, John.
We're talking about, it's called The Star and the Sycamore by Tom Springer. And it's a, you know, he writes about nature and St. Joe County and Three Rivers. And I enjoyed his first book, and I enjoyed this one too.
Wow, I didn't know Tom Bodette. I know him from Way Way Don't Tell Me. I didn't know him.
He wrote a series of books. He wrote a book called The Free Fall of Webster Cummings, which I listened to on disc, which I really enjoyed, about his whole community. You know, Homer, Alaska is his version of Lake Wobegon, and but I did like it.
Like, well, yeah.
But yeah, he's a
exists.
Sturgis High School grad. He graduated with John Bush.
Wow, a small world.
Anyway, have you been in contact with Miss Brand?
Yeah, she's, yeah, our plan, we're going to, I spoke to her, and she's been unable to, waiting on the civil case, due to an auto accident 2 years ago, and then she was going to come into some money and then be able to pay all fines and costs on all of her cases, but she's going to plead today and go on a payment plan.
All right. Yeah, she's got a lot of baggage.
Yeah,
Nothing terrible.
oh, it's something like a couple thousand. It's a significant amount.
Well, those stupid booking fees I can reduce, but
Yeah.
all right, LG Stylo 6, maybe that's Funky Cold Medina. Let's see whether it's her. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, let me give you a name here. All right. Good afternoon. This is Judge Middleton. I'm over here at the court, and your lawyer, Luke Knopfsinger, is with us. I will caution you, we're live on the Zoom platform and on YouTube, but we are recording everything. You're a little early, and there's no harm in that. The prosecutor's not here yet, but we'll go ahead and get started while we wait for Mr. Johnson to join us. Ms. Brand, you're charged with driving suspended, first offense, and unlawful use of a registration plate. That's in file 20918 and 919. Before you logged in, Luke and I were discussing your situation, and you got a bunch of baggage on your driving record. A number of them are booking fees, and booking fees have absolutely nothing to do with driving. And they start at $12. If you don't pay them, they get defaulted, and they go up to like $258 for a stupid $12 booking ticket that most jurisdictions don't do, although our sheriff does them. He's the only one in Region 5 that does. Some reason that escapes me, they connected it to people's driving privileges. It has nothing to do with your driving. So you've got a lot of that, which is prohibiting you from getting your license back. The allegation is that on this day, which was way back in May of last year, you were driving suspended and with an improper plate. So here we are almost a whole year later because of COVID, still dealing with this circumstance. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. 2 points, and it requires that your license be suspended. Luke had mentioned that there was a plea agreement in this case. Luke, what's the plea agreement?
No valid ops, and then the plate violation will be dismissed.
All right, that looks a pretty good plea offer. Ms. Brand, did you hear what Luke said?
Yes, I did.
Now let me tell you what it's going to dismiss the plate charge, which is going to save you $200. But no ops is a lot better than driving suspended because it doesn't require that your license be suspended. It is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. It carries 2 points, but it does not require that your license be suspended. He's proposing we do a payment plan for you to be able to pay this fine, cost, and attorney fee off.
Yes, most definitely.
Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, sir, it is.
Other than that, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No,
or threaten you?
no.
Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If there was a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Knopfsinger has been representing you here. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify, because you have a right to testify. You also have a right not to testify. And if you chose not to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath, and you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. All right, were you driving a car? Take a look at this. Way last May 9th here in St. Joe County.
Yes, I was.
Where were you going?
I was taking a friend to another person's house. I was going to drop him off and they weren't home. So then I was coming back and then that's when I got pulled over.
Or was your license not valid?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I think we've got some bond money here, but I think it's a surety bond.
The report has a $350 PR bond.
Well, then she missed a court date.
Okay.
Yeah, I had warrants and they didn't take me in because of the COVID. And so he just had given me, a ticket to go back to court another time.
All right, you never actually went to jail?
No, sir.
All right. I'm just gonna give you a $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. The state of Michigan requires me to assess those two fees, which is $75 on everything I do. There's also a $150 attorney fee, which comes out to $350. I would really like to get that other stuff paid off, but I'm not gonna make it a requirement. It's in your own best interest to get it paid off. How much can you pay each month?
Well, my son, medically, I can't work at this time, but my son said that he would help me. And I'm waiting on a lawsuit from a car accident prior 2 years ago, which I wasn't driving. But so he'll help me make payments and stuff until that comes through.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Can you
I'm
pay
going to say,
$50 a month? That would take
Yes.
7 months. All right.
yes, most
I
definitely.
remember the car accident and the wheels of justice spin quite slowly. I wish that were done, but certainly nothing prohibits you from paying it sooner.
Yes.
$50 per month starting May 1st. Mr. Casey Johnson has joined us. Casey, this is Miss Brand. She's entered the plea to the no ops plea offer per Luke's representation. She's going to pay her fine in installment payments, but if she gets money sooner, she can certainly pay it sooner. Now, Medina, if you can't pay it, if you can't pay 50, send 40, send 25, send something to indicate you didn't
Okay.
just put it off and you're working at it. The goal isn't to put you
Okay.
in jail, the goal is to get the fine paid.
Right. Okay.
I hope you get your settlement. You and I have been discussing that for a long time.
Yes.
And what county is that in?
It happened in St. Joe County, but the lawsuit, my lawyers are out of Grand Rapids, and I'm not sure how they go about. It goes in front of the judge today, actually, and then they make their first offer the 15th of this month.
All right. Well, that takes care of both of these matters. Do you have any questions?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. How about if you don't come back and see me for a while? How's that sound?
All right, that sounds great.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right. Luke, does that finish you?
Does for today, yes.
For now. All right. Next is Samuel Perdue. He's got a name that he prefers to go by.
Mr. Samuro Bay, I believe.
Yeah, Samaro Bay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wait for him. He's got his other case has been set for jury trial. I'm assuming that's what he wanted to do with this too.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you in a bit. Tomorrow
Okay.
didn't look too bad. I think in part because Jordan's is gone, TJ's gone. It's spring break week, and I think a lot of the attorneys didn't want to put their pretrials on that day, so we should be all right.
I'm hoping so.
All right, I'll see you in a few
Good.
minutes with Mr. Bay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Da-da-da.
Hello.
Hello, Melissa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're not on spring break, so you're stuck here with us left behinds?
Yeah, actually, my kid's spring break here in Vicksburg was last week.
Oh.
So I mean, I just took the girls to Chicago for a night, and we went to the Field Museum, and but I have the Hensley class pre-file at 2, and I have arraignments, 3 arraignments I still need to do this afternoon too. So I didn't know if this would be
Who are
one.
those on?
The
Well,
arraignments.
I've got you with Lauren Kaufman
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's
and
gonna.
Hensley. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about Kaufman.
Oh, yeah.
How long do you need, Judge?
You need Melissa in your room?
Well, I'm not ready yet. I need about 20 more minutes or so.
Yeah, we'll be done with 20 minutes.
Okay, so then just, okay.
And yes, Mark, I meant 2.
All right, well, we all have to be more, I'm the only one that only has to be one place at a time, so I have sympathy for you practicing attorneys that have got to try to cover several different courts. Good afternoon, sir. I'll call you by your preferred name, Mr. Morrow Bay. This is Judge Middleton. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
All right, we're waiting just a bit for the prosecutor to log in.
Understood.
He was with us just a bit ago. He should be right back.
Sweet, sweet.
Mr. Perdue, we are live, well, even though we're not doing anything here. We're live on YouTube and live on the Zoom platform. As soon as Casey Johnson from prosecutor comes in, we'll conduct our business.
That's not my name.
Well, I know you're known to the Secretary of State by your birth name, but you prefer to be known as Samir Siraj Morrow Bay. And
I'm a national of the land.
I
Declare my
understand.
nationality. But I thought, did you take an oath to this?
Did
To
I?
uphold the Constitution? Yeah, to uphold the Constitution
Oh, yes.
and the treaties.
I don't know about treaties. Those are federal. This is state law.
I know. This is, I shouldn't even be here. I should be somewhere federal. I should be in a federal courtroom, and you still haven't provided any delegation of authority order.
Well, wait a minute till the prosecutor gets here and you can go through. You've said this stuff on each previous case.
I know, and I'm still waiting for my delegation of authority order. I'm still waiting. I never got it in the mail. That's Article 3, Section 2. You took an oath to this. You know it. I shouldn't even be here.
You could fix that. You could stop driving a damn car, and then you wouldn't keep coming here, and you wouldn't have to deal with me, and I wouldn't have to deal with you, which would
But a
make both
driver,
of us.
but isn't driving a commercial terminology?
No.
It's
In
not.
In your universe, maybe it is, but in this one, it's
But
covered
according-
by Michigan Motor Vehicle Code.
So what about Black's Law Dictionary? Does that not
Well, as
count?
far as I know, that doesn't control Michigan traffic legislation.
And as far as I know, you can't make up rules to undermine the Constitution. And no matter what rules or codes you make up, it doesn't supersede the law.
Here comes Mr. Johnson. I don't disagree with that. One of us keeps making up rules, but I don't think it's me.
I mean,
Mr.
I'm
Johnson?
pretty sure it is.
All right, well, let me call the case. This is file 21213ST. The actual title on the ticket is People versus Samuel Rufus Perdue. The defendant is here. He prefers to
I'm
be
not.
known as Samir Siraj Maro Bey. I don't think he ever lawfully changed his name, but he goes by that name, and he has every time he's been here. He's charged once again with driving suspended second offense. It's alleged that on or about January 31st, he was operating a vehicle here in St. Joseph County while his license was suspended. He also got a ticket for speeding, so he tends to go too fast, always doesn't have insurance, and he doesn't have a license. He has two previous cases already pending. File 202073 is a driving suspended charge from September 17th. He liked that one so much, he got another one on November 25th. I think one or both of those cases he was speeding. That's file 2026653. Mr. Morrow Bay has a different view of the law. He wants to represent himself, which I've allowed, and we had agreed to set those two earlier cases for jury trial. As we discussed earlier, sir, I can't do a jury.
Represent myself.
Excuse me?
I said, I'm sorry, I can't represent myself. I
Well,
am
that's
who
what-
I am.
All right, but you don't wish to have a lawyer, is that correct?
Oh, no, I don't need one.
All right. Well, now you have your third driving suspended charge, and I told you last time, if you did another one of these, I was going to set a bond, but I'm not going to. Let me tell you this right now.
I'm a
If you
traveler,
drive-
not a driver, for the
Yes,
record.
We're
and
all
for the record-
travelers in this universe. At any rate, you haven't been convicted of anything. You've been accused 3 times, but you do
Also
not have
accused.
lawful authority to drive in Michigan. If you drive again in St. Joe County, I'm going to set a bond, and you'll either post it or sit in jail while we await the ability to try your case. I can only leave you in jail for 28 days. But am I understanding, once again, sir, you wish to have a jury trial on this matter?
For my national peers, because I'm a national of the land, and you still haven't proven jurisdiction. I challenged jurisdiction a long time ago, and it's never been proven, and I'm still waiting.
All right, I had that discussion with a guy that was in jail once. I said, well, you're in jail, I guess you're in my jurisdiction. Let me tell you this, my jurisdiction is St. Joe County, and stop driving in it.
I don't drive. I'm a traveler by law, and I've already sent you paperwork, and you never responded.
Well, because I'm not required to respond to it. You've got a skewed view of things. if this was this easy, everybody would declare themselves their own country and everybody could do whatever they wanted to. So
But
the
this is
rules
Morocco.
only apply to you.
No,
The rest of
it
us
applies.
suckers are stuck complying with the law. So let's just figure out who the witnesses are, and we'll also set this
For the
for a
land.
jury. Casey, who have you got for witnesses?
Just a second, Judge. I'm sorry. 22. I had his other files open.
Only here special appearance, only because I have to. Because if I don't be here, you know, you're going to send your criminals to come get me if I'm not here. So I'm only here under threat, duress, and coercion.
Well,
Just to
and
put that out there.
you're sitting in the driver's seat of your car. Now, I'm letting you wear your headgear because I think it's part of your beliefs, so I'm not going to push it. But you're sitting in the damn driver's seat. What's the witnesses?
Jesse Raymond, Your Honor. That's it.
Oh, the police, the so-called police officer who pulled me over is a witness also?
And a certified driving record.
Isn't that a conflict of interest right there?
No.
Don't he work for the court?
He doesn't work for the court. The court's in the judicial branch. He's in the executive branch. Plus, you keep driving too fast. So you're a traveler. You get to travel whatever speed you feel like. You don't have to have insurance, and you can do what you want. All right. Well, anyway, I'm just gonna set this on the jury list with the other two cases. And let me say this again: if you drive again and you get another citation, I'm gonna set a $1,000 cash bond, and you can sit in jail. So my strong advice is to stay out of St. Joseph County.
So you do realize
you're already driving there. So I'm gonna mute your microphone, and I'll set this for a jury trial on a date to be determined. All right, that completes that record.
Convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it, right? You do know that, right?
I don't make the law, I just try to apply it. All right, we'll set this for a jury trial on the next date.
Your statutes and your codes are not the law.
That's an argument that has no end. We could, if we live to be 112, we could continue to have this argument. He wants a jury trial, he's entitled to have one, and we'll get there when we can get there. All right. Mr. Kaufman, I'll be with you in just a moment. Mr. Perdue, you're good to go. We'll set this for jury trial with your.
My name is Samir Bey. I thought I already told you that.
Sometime, yeah, you told me that. All right, thank you. I'll be in touch.
You don't respect the law. You're a criminal.
Well, one of us is. All right. Mr. Kaufman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the court in Centerville. Your lawyer, Melissa Halleck, is here with us. Also, the esteemed Casey Johnson is here from the prosecuting attorney's office. You're charged with driving suspended second offense. It's alleged to have occurred on or about December 25th. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Mr. Johnson, what's the status here?
Well, Your Honor, the offer in these two files would be a driving suspended and a no proof. I know Mr. Kaufman has other files, so there was some discussion about perhaps a global resolution, but I don't know where that all stands.
All right, let me look. (218) and 219. He's got another driving suspended second case in 21219. So there are two of them. Misplaced one of them. I've got 21407, driving suspended second. And I thought I had the other one and I can't find it. So that one alleges that he was driving suspended on January 30th of 21. Mr. Kaufman, you can't drive a car till we get this straightened out. You've also got two more cases, 9 driving suspended second offense on March 18th and another driving suspended on March 31st. I just had a nice theoretical discussion with a gentleman who believes he has a right to travel. You can't drive a car. You got 4 driving suspended charges in the last 60 days, and I have a spot for you in the jail in Centerville if you continue to drive your car in violation of your suspensions. So he has 4 total driving suspended cases, plus some ancillary counts.
So it's a lot. Yeah, so I'm not sure who represents Mr. Kaufman in all of these. I'm assuming, Ms. Halleck, you don't represent all these files.
I do not. I have one, but I understand.
Well, let's take a look.
Let's see who we got.
In 331, he posted a bond, and it's set for a pretrial without counsel. It's pretrial 414. In 10. .318, he has a DWLS second. And that is set for pretrial 414. The 2 cases that are set for today the 21407 is February 25th, and the earlier no insurance charge and driving suspended is from January 30th. So, Mr. Kaufman, you've got 4 separate driving suspended charges, no proof of no insurance, and one was January 30th, one was February 25th, and you doubled up on the month of March. You got one on March 18th and March 31st. So there are 4 separate driving suspended second cases. Mr. Kaufman, are you still in Shipshewana?
I don't have an address right now.
We had discussed this in an earlier case. You've also got issues with your Indiana license, don't you?
No, Indiana won't allow me to renew my license until my stuff in Michigan is taken care of. And it's from a DUI like 7 years ago up in Eaton County. And last time I talked to them, they want me to do 7 months in jail and pay like several $1,000s in fines. So it's not as simple as me just logging on, setting a date with Secretary of State and, you know, paying some fines here and getting it reinstated. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yes. I don't know if is there an open warrant for you from Eaton County?
Yeah, but St. Joseph County is outside their 50-mile radius, and they can never come down here and get me. I've tried taking care of it up there, but it's just, you know, I don't have the money to pay for an attorney and do all that right now, you know, especially with having to pay for getting a vehicle out of impound and all this stuff going on right now.
Well, you could fix it. Stop driving.
I don't know what everybody expects me to do. Up until recently, I lived, you know, over by it's in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. Middle of nowhere, it's walking distance over a grocery store or a laundromat. And if anyone's ever tried to get a ride, every time that they need to go take care of something, I would starve to death. You know,
Well, I don't have control over that, but one thing I might do is I might move to somewhere where I didn't need a car. You don't have any fear of me. Did the same thing 4 times in 60 days. And fortunately, we don't live in the era of driver responsibility fees, or you'd owe $10,000.
Each time that I got a driving while suspended, it was the same arresting officer, the same officer each time. Each time that it happened, I wasn't drinking and driving. I wasn't being irresponsible. Didn't have drugs on me. I wasn't, you know, if you were able to give me a suspended or what do they call it?
A restricted license.
I would have been within those guidelines. You know, I'm not being irresponsible with it. I'm doing what I have to because, you know,
if I were king of the world, I'd give people licenses to get back and forth to work. Many district judges never had that authority. It was always a circuit court authority. It's very limited now. Almost all the authority to issue driver's licenses or restore them lies with the Michigan Secretary of State, the Driver's License Appeal Division. And it can be very difficult to get you ain't doing yourselves any favor by keep getting cited for the same thing. It's like, well, this feels so good when I hit myself in the head with a hammer. I think I'll enjoy it when it stops.
I just want the courts to understand that, you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful by what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be rebellious. I did file a formal complaint with the chief of police here of harassment against Officer Matt Hansen, and then I also filed a complaint with police.org. You know, I'm taking other actions because I feel like it's ridiculous. You know, I understand I'm breaking the law by driving without a license, but when you pull me over every time you see me just because you know it's me and you know I don't have a license, that's a little bit ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous depending on which side of the coin you're looking at it from. I don't have any solution here. What I told Mr. Morrow Bay is if he drove again, I'd set a $1,000 bond and he could sit while we sorted it out. So I'll tell you that if you get another one of these here in St. Joe County, I'm going to arraign you. I'm going to set a bond of cash money that you're going to have to post because right now we're not able to do a jury trial because we can't bring a group of strangers into a small room and put them in to deliberate on something. So we're stuck. So Casey, you've got 4 total cases. Melissa, I think you're only appointed on this one. The other 2 haven't worked themselves into the system. They'll be here again on April 14th. Any suggestion?
Well,
Miss my case and let them deal with the other ones.
All right, then let's appoint Melissa on the other 3 cases.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
We could all give Mr. Kaufman our numbers, and when he needs a ride, he can give us a call.
That would be excellent.
Your Honor, I don't know who the other attorneys who were appointed are. I do believe Mr. Kaufman when he says he's only doing it to get necessities and whatever. I don't know the logistics of him being able to relocate or not. I do know he's tried to keep in touch. It's been difficult because he has been homeless for a lengthy period of time. I know him and his girlfriend had separated. They were living together, and he's the one that left. So I don't know the details.
Well, Your Honor, I think it's pretty clear that it'd be best to deal with all of these in one shot.
Well, Melissa's got him on both. She's also got the 330 case.
Yep, and I see that. So there's two where he's not yet.
So he's got two with Melissa, and he's got two newer ones that he's got a pre-trial.
Right.
Well, if he's willing to plead to, I mean, do you have a universal offer or no, Casey?
I think to get this done, I think my offer would be to plead to this 21-219, so the DWLS second and the operating without insurance, and I would dismiss the rest.
So one DWLS second or DWLS first?
Second. So as charged on this count.
All right, so plead in 218 and 219 and dismiss everything else.
Correct.
I won't do a sentence today if he does do that. Good morning, Mr. Cook. All right, so let me repeat that, Mr. Kaufman. You're charged with 4 separate counts of driving suspended second. One on January 30th, that's this one, 219, and also having no insurance. You got another ticket on February 25th for driving suspended second. The prosecutor will dismiss that. You got another ticket on March 18th for driving suspended. The prosecutor will dismiss that. You got another ticket on March 31st. The prosecutor will dismiss that. So, and the related cases with them. So you're going to, by this plea offer, if you accept it, you would plead to driving suspended second and operating without insurance. Let's talk about the insurance charge. That carries a minimum fine of $200 plus costs by statute. So I don't have any discretion in that. But the other 3 cases would go away. Do you wish to discuss that with your attorney?
Yes, please.
All right. Melissa, I'll put you guys in a breakout room and you can discuss that offer.
Okay.
John, you have Mark Lucas.
That's accurate.
He's not in custody. He's not here.
I'm not sure. I talked to him a little while ago. He's not in the best of moods today. I broke the news to him that he's going to have to turn himself in on some new felony charges.
That's always popular news. He has an open warrant in file 21682FY for home invasion and stalking. And then he has this case. The date of that alleged offense, oops, it's 3/11. Did you expect that he was upset enough that he wasn't going to appear?
That would not surprise me, Your Honor.
Okay. It's rough being the bearer of bad news. What else have you got today, John?
I have two more after this. I have Evan Nemeth and Chad Solomon. I believe both of those will resolve.
Yeah, Nemeth is 230. What's the offer in that one?
He's going to make an admission to careless driving, but he's
Okay.
going to pay $250 restitution. I think the main issue for the pretrial today is how he's going to pay it. If I pay it to the district court, he gives me a check to the city of Sturgis, and I take it to the city of Sturgis. Just the logistics of the money. The money is available.
All right, but he was on the skating rink, so it'd go to the city of Sturgis.
Yeah, yes. And he is physically in my office right now.
Oh, he is? Why don't you bring him in? Is he retained?
Yes,
Okay.
he is somewhat kind of limited, so he'll be in the room with his mom and dad. Although he does have a driver's license.
Yeah, he's got lots of baggage. I know this young man from the Catholic Church in Centerville.
So it's going to take me a moment or two to get everything turned on.
Well, maybe we should wait. We've got Melissa in the room with Mr. Kaufman. So I don't want you to get Evan all lined up and then we,
Do you know how we'll do the restitution? I mean, that's really.
well, I could simply have him pay it to the city of Sturgis. I think it's, and then if he doesn't do it, we could do a show cause.
As long as Casey's satisfied with that process, that's fine.
I don't have a problem with it.
Then, what else do we have? Chad Solomon.
He's going to admit to no ops.
All right, that seems pretty straightforward. I'm losing my voice, as I often do in the spring at pollen time. That and I talk too much.
Did Judge Stutzman's jury trial end up going this week?
No, none of them did. In fact, the State Court Administrator's Office, Supreme Court, said we're compelled to move back to phase 2. Judge Pattison and I, at the beginning of the year, had hoped to maybe start trying jury trials in May, but right now we're in phase 2, so even if we wanted to, we can't do it.
I have a jury trial scheduled in Stutzman the last week of April, and as far as I knew, it was still on, but I guess that's less and less likely at this point in time.
It does appear to be, yes.
Since I don't hear anything or know anything, just go to the courthouse anymore.
Well, Kathy's on top of all that. I had a meeting here, 3 weeks ago with Dave Marvin and gave him my breakdown of the misdemeanor jury trials that were pending. And he was gonna go over that with Casey and Debbie and Gary, see which of those they could, some of them, the guy may have a misdemeanor and a felony CSE case. And the misdemeanor just kind of tagging along. There were one or two people on that list who have been sent to prison. So it's not likely they're gonna bring them back from prison. And then there were some others that looks like they could be resolved. So I'd hope to get rid of maybe a third of them, but
Will you be
I
able?
said this. Go ahead,
Will you be
I'm
able to
sorry.
coordinate a little bit with Judge Because I'm afraid once the dam breaks, both the district court and the circuit court are going to want us for jury trials on the same days and the same
Yes,
weeks.
we're going to have to coordinate that. Yes, and I've said this multiple times, we're doing everything else that we've been empowered to do. We're up to speed on landlord-tenant, we're up to speed on general civil, we're up to speed on small claims, we're up to speed on all of our misdemeanor and traffic matters, arraignments, prelims, everything is current. We're doing it all by Zoom. The only thing we can't do right now is a jury trial. But every other aspect of the court is firing on all cylinders. And we've got this big pink elephant in the room that we can't do a jury trial. The other side of that coin is we've used jury trial time to take care of other things. We're trying termination of tenancy cases and probation violation hearings and other things on what we used to do on Wednesday jury days. But yeah, we're all in for a reckoning. I told Casey he gets to try a case a week for 40 weeks. And that's be some good experience.
Gonna be great.
Well, in hindsight, maybe we should have done, Mr. Nemeth. John, why don't you go ahead and set him up while we
Okay,
wait.
it'll take me just a few moments, Judge.
Welcome back, John.
Thank you.
Are you back for Valentine?
Yeah, and I see I made a mistake. I think originally it was set for 2:30 and then it must have got bumped to 3.
It's set for 3 and 3:15, so we got a few more. We got 3 cases in the works that we'll have done by 3.
Okay.
So I'll see you at 3.
All right, just to give you a heads up, I did finally get a hold of somebody over at the jail. They got a community health, a mental health liaison or something like that.
Yeah, I'd emailed her this morning, Lisa.
Yeah, I talked to her and I asked her if you would allow her to be present for the upcoming pretrial at 3. I think she can give some input, but she said because of HIPAA requirements and privacy, if it's public, she can't talk. So we might need, I think I'm going to move to make it private since we're going to be discussing mental health issues.
All right.
So thanks. I'll sign back in a bit.
All right. Good afternoon. Mr. Nemeth, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
This is Judge Middleton. Is it safe to take your mask off? Are you in the room by yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Nemeth, this is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse in Centerville. I recognize you from the church here in Centerville. Sometimes I go to mass over there.
Okay.
You're charged here with reckless driving, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It carries 6 points on your driving record and requires that your license be suspended. The prosecutor has agreed to dismiss that charge for a plea to a civil infraction known as careless driving.
Right.
Careless driving is not even a crime. It's what's called a civil infraction. It's punishable by a fine only. And Casey, I can never remember, which I've only done this 1,010 times, whether careless is 3 or 4. It used to be 3 and then it was 4, and
I thought it was 4 points.
I believe it is.
My client believes it's 4. That I may have been mistaken too, but that's the
No, I
number
believe,
gave
John,
him.
when you and I were young, it was 3 and it's 4 now. But it doesn't require that your license be suspended unless there's another problem. They're also requesting that you pay $250 to the city of Sturgis for damage to the ice rink.
Yeah.
Now, when you admit to a civil infraction, you don't plead guilty or not guilty, you simply admit responsibility. So do you admit that on February 1st, you drove your car over the ice rink at the Sturgis Park?
Yes, I do, but didn't intend to do any damage to it.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
I was there to eat lunch. Well, first I went to McDonald's to get lunch, and I was with a friend, and we drove, and you couldn't sit in a McDonald's because the seating was closed. So we got back in my truck, and then we drove to the park. And when we were done, I went to back up. I broke traction, so I put my truck back in drive, and then pulled forward, and I slid into the ice rink, and I did a circle to pull myself back out.
Is the ice rink at the bottom of the hill?
Yes.
So your truck slid all the way down that hill?
Your Honor, it may not be the big, deep sliding hill you're talking about.
Okay.
There is a slight embankment that goes down to the ice rink, but not the big sliding hill. That's probably
Okay.
75 yards away.
All right. And did it do some damage to the rink? What kind of truck do you have, Mr. Nemeth?
I have a Ford Ranger that's 4-wheel drive.
All right, that's sufficient for careless. Careless is negligence. Recklessness is willful intentional conduct. What you just described to me is careless. So I'll accept the plea to careless. The fine is $160.
Okay.
Defendant to pay $250 to the city of, pay it to the court, and we'll remit it to the city of Sturgis.
Okay. And there's a total of 400 then?
$410.
Yeah, just for the clarify the record and for everyone's information, careless driving is 3 points.
3 points? All right. Thank you. I could have looked it up. I've only done, like I said, 1,000 million times. But Mr. Nemeth, you got an awful lot of baggage on your driving record over the years when you were a kid.
Yes, I do.
You're not a kid anymore.
No.
This is not going to require that your license be suspended. I'm not sure what the Secretary of State's going to do. They might call you in for a re-exam. But you have to pay that $250 by May 1st.
Okay.
The total amount. Well, actually, I'm supposed to give you 30 days, so you have to pay it by May 8th.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
How do I pay it?
You can pay it by
Money order?
certified check, money order, bring in green cash, or pay it online.
Okay.
Do they actually go into the district court office now, or is that not open for that type of a transaction?
Well, probably not, once we go back to phase 2. But if you bring a check to the courthouse, they'll accept it, the bailiff will accept it, they'll let you go in and pay it at the court.
Good, thank you. That clears that up.
All right, there's no attorney fee because you retain Mr. Bush. This is a pretty good disposition. It doesn't suspend your license. When my kids were young, we used to make a rink out in front of our house. We'd take the garden hose and we'd put a big rink out on the lake. And then some yahoo would come drive through there with a snowmobile and put ruts right in the middle of our hockey rink, which was very irritating. So in addition to this, you prohibited everybody else from skating for a while till they got this straightened out. I'm glad you didn't hurt yourself. All right, you're good to go, sir.
Give me a moment, Your Honor, I'll escort them out then.
All right. Melissa, we took up another case while you guys were talking, and so that worked out just fine. I'm gonna do one more brief matter, Mr. Bush, and then we'll talk to your client.
Okay.
It's hard to score a goal when there's a big rut right down the middle of your hockey rink.
Is that paid on time? But that way they suspend his license. No, it just has to go through that.
Hey, Your Honor,
Yes.
Mark said he's ready to do those arraignments. I only have 3.
I think you got the careless driving ticket.
Should I do those?
Let me finish with John. We'll talk to Mr. Kaufman, and then I'll catch up with you.
Okay.
You wanna wait? You talk to me, I can't, I have to do the next
Okay,
hearing. I'm glad to do it, I just have to do that one, okay?
Oh, heck. John, I removed the wrong John Bush case. Darn it, he's in here twice and I removed the wrong one. All right. What are we going to do with Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, he, is Casey there? Can Casey hear me?
Yes.
If he can provide proof that he had just purchased that vehicle,
I don't care. No.
okay, if you would get,
It's a very generous offer. It's a take it or leave it situation.
okay, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard
Lauren?
it.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I'll take it.
All right, just a moment, Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Bush, Mr. Lucas is not here. I'm going to ask for bench warrant. We have to wait 48 hours. This is
my conversation with him. I'm not
2090 SM. There's an open warrant for his arrest, which is sort of related to this. It's a home invasion felony stalking. The conduct had continued. And there will be $1,000 cash or surety bond. Or maybe he turned himself in at the jail on your advice. You'll never know, but he isn't here, so I'm issuing a bench warrant for his arrest.
I'm a pretty powerful attorney, but I have my doubts that I convinced him to do that.
All right. I'm going to bring Mr. Selman in, and then we're going to free up Melissa so she can take care of some other matters. All right, Mr. Kaufman, you've got 4 total files. The one you're going to enter a plea on is from January 30th of 21. It's driving suspended second offense and no insurance. 21218 and 219. They're going to dismiss file 21407, driving suspended on February 25th. They're going to dismiss driving suspended on March 18th, 21588, second offense. They're going to dismiss driving suspended second offense 21686. Also, I'm not going to sentence you today. I'm going to set it off for sentencing a little bit to see what transpires. Other than that, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Threaten you to try to get you to plead?
No.
As Mr. Johnson says, I view this as a pretty generous plea offer as well. and I went through the advice of rights, I think, when you first came in. Were you driving a car on February 19th?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, January 30th, and was your license suspended?
Yes, sir.
And did you not have proper insurance on the car yet?
That's correct.
All right, I'm going to set this for sentence for May 17th. At 11. I'm also interested to see whether you get another ticket between now and May 17th. People, the current state of the law is driving is a privilege, not a right. The last gentleman that I just spoke with would disagree with that, but that's the state of the law in Michigan. You don't have a right to drive a car. Your right has been suspended for several reasons. If you had 4 of these, you'd have to live to be about 92 to get your license back. You only have 1. That may help your cause, but I want to see what you do between now and May 17th. I want you to keep your attorney apprised of your address. The last address I've got is the Middlebury Street address.
That's
is
my
that where
parents.
all right, I'll send your mail to that.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Now, you had 2 cases. You were supposed to be here on April 14th. This took care of those. You don't have to be here for those pretrials. This took care of all your pending existing cases in St. Joe County, which is part of why I see it as such a generous gift. So don't screw it up and do this again before I see you on May 17th.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, you're good to go. All right, Marissa, you can go take care of your other matters, Melissa, thank you. All right, Mr. Salmon, would you wake up?
I'm awake, sir.
All right, good afternoon, this is Judge Middleton. You get your file out. Mr. Salmon, your lawyer, Mr. John Bush, is here with us. You're charged with driving with a suspended license as a first offense. We get a lot of these, zillions of them. It is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The prosecutors agreed to reduce it to no operator's license. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail, a fine of up to $100. Carries 2 points, but it does not require that your license be suspended. Do you understand the charge?
Sure I do.
Other than that plea offer, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you plead to this, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Bush has been appointed to represent you. You can also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify, and if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They could subpoena any witnesses that you wish. So are you ready to acknowledge that you were driving a car while you were suspended on December 11th?
Yes, sir.
Where were you going?
We were going from my fiance's house in Constantine to my
my brother's house in Mountville where we were moving to at the time.
Does she have a license?
Our friend had calipers. Does, but the caliper seized up on the car and it was all over the place, and it was the only safe way to get us home that I saw at the time. I know it was a mistake, but I did it, so I'm here.
All right.
Just trying to get her and the car home safe is all.
You owe me a lot of money and you're not doing a very good job of paying on it. You had a driving suspended in November. You're supposed to be making payments on that. You had a domestic violence disturbing the peace. You didn't make any payments on that. You have a no insurance or no proof of insurance from last year, and you're not making any payments on that. So you owe me quite a bit of money, and if I give you a fine here, I have no way of knowing you're going to pay it. So possibility is I'll just put you in jail. You can be a trustee at the jail and work on that. But instead, I'm going to set this for sentencing for the same time as the last one, May 17th. The last three cases that you're on, the driving suspended is new. You make it sound like you're Mr. Humanitarian, you're just trying to get your girlfriend home safe. You're not supposed to drive anyway. You just got another driving suspended just before this one. And you got three other cases that you're supposed to be paying money on, and you're not. So we can erase the money by jail time. So I want to see how much you pay off on your other fines and costs by May 17th. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Summit, can you confirm with the judge where you're at and what you're doing right now?
Where are you working?
I just got home from work. JKL Free Solutions.
All right. Are you expecting a tax refund or a stimulus check?
It's my Social Security number.
All right, well, I'm losing your signal here. We've set this for sentencing for May 17th. You've got three other cases that you're supposed to be paying on and have not been. So I want to see how much of a dent you make on that by May 17th. If you don't, I can just wipe all of it out with a jail sentence and you can mow lawns till 4th of July or something. So I want you to make an effort to pay on these outstanding tickets, in which case I would work with you on getting this one paid. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right, stay in contact with your attorney. Are you still on Hassinger Road?
Yes, sir.
How do you get back and forth to work?
My boss fixed me up. He actually lives right around the corner from us.
I think that's what you told me the last time, but apparently stick with that plan and don't drive anymore till I see you in May. All right, you're good to go.
Your Honor, I know May 17th. I didn't catch the time.
11.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good luck, sir. Let's see what we can accomplish between now and then.
I think I'm done. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Hello, Deputy Bradford. I've been asking you guys to hold on to Tyrone Valentine. He's got about 11 cases. Could you bring him up, please?
We will do.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Bye. Casey, did you look and see if you had any of those? I made a chart.
I don't have any of the ones that are on today's docket.
Well, you got 202446, which is a retail fraud and a trespass. That's a SM. You've got 2025-2457. No, he did 80 days on that one. I think you have 202567, which is a retail, I got dismissed. I think you're right. I think everything is under Three Rivers ordinance that's currently pending.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'd love to bring you in on this, but you're off the hook. So then we've got Danielle Hensley at 330. We already took care of that other Kaufman case. Now we got Dustin Swope.
So my notes are Hensley's a special prosecution, so I'm assuming Branch
Yes,
County
that's
is-
Stempian, and we also have a bond violation hearing also.
Okay, and then Swope, I'm not sure if you have it, but Melissa, we've signed a stip in order to adjourn. That.
Oh, he's got the felony case.
Yeah, he's got the case upstairs. We're hoping to resolve them all. So just kind of waiting, a little holding pattern on that. So
All right, you're off the hook, I guess.
I think that's it. Yeah.
If I need you. All right,
thank you, Judge.
Well, they've got Mr. Valentine in the room.
Who's defense attorney today, Judge?
Paul Gibson.
He's the lucky fellow.
He's got 2 new cases I need to arraign him on. Oh, they only gave me was the sheet. Darn it. Let me see if they're in my queue yet. He's got so many cases, hard to keep everything straight.
It is.
728. Here it is. That alleges that yesterday at Michigan Avenue at North Grant, he was a disorderly person.
Which one is that?
21728. He hasn't been arraigned on it yet. There's a ticket issued by Anthony Fuller.
Okay.
His trespass from this place of business, refused to leave when ordered. He stated he was going to put his hands on the officers. Now, I don't know what business is at North Grant in West Michigan. Is that Harding's?
Well, North Grant would be that gas station that used to be BP. I think now it may be a Sunoco station.
Oh, you're showing your age. All right, so there's that one. Then.
So that's what's that one again?
21728.
And that's North Grant and.
Yes.
And that was from
Yeah.
yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
And who issued that ticket?
Anthony Fuller.
Fuller.
Now,
and I just got one from Fuller dated is it Admiral and Shell?
Well, that's, I'm trying to find, it's 21729. 72, wait a minute. I have 728 and 729. I have 728, I don't have 729 in my queue. What's this one? Yeah, 728, 729. Darn it. I don't know if this is the one that they dismissed. I guess it is. I don't think. Hard to keep it all straight.
It is.
And it should be in my queue and it isn't. So let me see what happened to this. Some of these just came in and Sam brought them to me just before we went on the record. But they do appear to be all ordinance cases. Here's 729. Let's see what the deal with this one is. That was at the Admiral Station at 1451. Trespass Admiral, then Shell West. Retail fraud from Admiral, a cup of coffee. The poor guy's banned from every store in town. Every time he goes in there, he gets
You were on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Valentine.
We can't see you.
Judge. You can't see me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah.
All right. How do I look?
How does it look, Tom?
Your scenes are affected.
All right, you got Lisa there with you. You got Sergeant Heath. I'm waiting for your attorney, Mr. Gibson. Here he is now.
Gosh, it's so delayed. Is it always like that?
Because you watch a movie, you see it,
Yeah.
the words off, I won't watch.
Is it always like that?
Some days more than others.
Okay.
Mr. Valentine, I come in the morning, and first thing in the morning, sometime after 7, I look at the jail roster and see who got arrested the night before, and I saw that you'd been arrested. You've got multiple cases pending, and you often don't show up for court when you're supposed to. You've got a couple of cases that you didn't appear on. So I sent an email to everybody I could think of and said, Mr. Valentine is set for court this afternoon with Mr. Gibson and Mr. Barnes. Please hold on to him until we can address all of his cases. And there are about 18 of them. I had asked for some help from Community Mental Health or other agency, Covered Bridge, to address your issues, which have a lot to do with mental health, possibly over and above criminal behavior. Well, let's just say which cases.
The criminal.
What? That's what you said.
I'm a product of my environment. Let me tell you one thing, dude. I went to Harvard. They needed me to go do a job in the South, and I've done it, and I'm here. So release me, please.
All right. Well, you told me how you ended up in Three Rivers, but I don't remember what the story was. Well, let's tell you what
airplane, at an airport. Do you really want me to tell the truth, Judge, Senior? Everybody know already. So why we need to keep it on the 100, bro? You see me, you know who I am already, bro. So why am I here?
Because you
I pay my taxes. I pay everybody taxes. So why am I here? To say Walmart, go ask them why I'm here.
Lord, let me
if
tell you
want
why.
some blood from me, ask me.
All right.
Why
Let
she
me tell
ain't
you why
in
you're
here? Why she ain't in here, dude?
All right, dude. Take a breath here for a minute.
I'm long with it.
I go. All right, let me tell you all the cases that are pending here today. File 20-2172 alleges disorderly person in the city of Three Rivers on September 29th. File 20-2188 alleges trespassing in the city of Three Rivers on September 29th. File 20-2420 alleges disorderly person in Three Rivers on October 24th. File 20255OM alleges trespassing in the city of Three Rivers on October 30th.
What was that number, Your Honor? 2455?
2455.
Thank you.
File 202524 alleges trespassing in the city of Three Rivers on November 8th. Then he had another case, 21628, that he failed to appear on a trespass charge, and it's set for order to show cause today. Then he has two new charges, disorderly person in file 21729 yesterday, and 21728 yesterday in the city of Three Rivers, disorderly person. So that's about 10 files.
Your Honor, I'm aware of several others. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, probably 3 or 4 others that we've gotten tickets for, but I don't think that they're court file numbers for them yet either.
Well, file number 21545, he failed to appear. That's pending further action. That's a trespass on March 12th. File 21496, disorderly person, failed to appear for his arraignment. That's set for further action. That occurred on March 8th. So that's 12 cases, I believe. Mr. Valentine, I have a hard time communicating with you. We don't always speak the same language. You keep getting all of these tickets in Three Rivers because people don't want you at their place of business, and the officers give you a ticket, then you don't show up for court, and then they give you another ticket. So here we are. Mr. Gibson represents you on some of these, but not all. My very strong opinion is that you need some mental health help. I had reached out to Covered Bridge, and they've always been very helpful to me. And they met with you today, but they're limited on what they can discuss because I don't think I have a release. So, Mr. Valentine, what's your wish here?
I would just like to go home and be out from here tonight, ASAP.
Where is home?
Dude, do I look home now? You know where you...
Well, do you
know my
still live
address?
on, do you still live on Constantine Street?
Yes, I do. What did y'all find there?
I don't know.
Then why you asking me where I live at?
Because you haven't showed up for court the last 3 times. I didn't know if you...
Talk to Paul, I was on Zoom, that's why. You know why I didn't show up to court? Because of the fake coronavirus, dude. Y'all got it closed, that's why I ain't show up. Now go talk to Walmart. Damn.
Hold on. He's doing his job. He's just making sure you live where you live.
All right.
Ask Mr. Walgreens, dude. All right, dude. All right. All right, I respect the gray hair, but I got gray hair too, bro. And I ain't dying for nothing.
I earned my gray hair.
How much you think I did mine?
I don't know, I'm about, I don't know, 40 years older than you are. But anyway, I don't know what to do. I let you out of jail. You don't show up for court. You keep getting cited with the same thing. Let me ask this. Are you connected to community mental health? Or do you currently have a caseworker?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Gibson, because the defendant's so hard to get a hold of contact with, have you had any ability to discuss his cases with him?
Well, he did call, it may have been Monday, and I was just wanting to make sure he knew he had court, and I was able to clarify that with him, but he really wasn't, I had a hard time discussing the matter with him.
Lisa, are you at liberty to discuss anything here?
It's live.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Tyrone, he confirmed his status. You know, we'd like to see more involvement. He has, do you want to tell him about where you'd like to go back to?
I will go back to the same place that I was at last time when this dude that I grew up with named Matassa brought me. It was a long ride, but I got there, and I got there safely in a black SUV.
Do you remember what it was called?
It was a Chevy, but it drove good. It didn't matter what year it was.
The place.
No, not the...
All I know is paid for about construction, dude. I just can't name the place right now. Harbor Oaks, that's why. That's why I know we were paid by construction, because of the word oaks. Oaks is a tree. Thanks to the dollar bill. Who's on a dollar bill? George Washington, that's a white man. That's a dollar bill. All right? Thank you, Dollar Tree.
Hall and Oats?
Harbor. Harbor. Oaks.
Oaks, where is it?
It's north of Wayne County. End of March. It sounds like, he was there.
Who's your worker?
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Barnes, you got any suggestions?
It would be nice to get him some help from community mental health, Your Honor. You know, it's a constant problem, but I don't see this as being as much of a criminal problem as a treatment thing if we could just get him some help.
Well, I've been struggling.
You know, the police department, the chief and the lieutenant have called me and said, you know, if there's any way that the court can help them get into some kind of a treatment program, you know, we'd like to see a lot of these cases go away. There's no need for the court to deal with it if we can get them some treatment and just stop the problem from continuing.
Well, there's a method for it. It's not a district court thing. The police can do a petition or mental health can file a petition. This is a mental health case. I struggle with Mr. Valentine every time we talk. I've been trying to get him some help since last October. He was in jail for a while. I let him out, and then this pattern started.
Excuse me, I would like to talk. I plead the fifth, but I lied. I'm sorry, I forgot. I tried to, you know why I was in jail? For a stick of cheese, all right? That I offered to pay for, right? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, for how long? Because my bill was what? How much? 80 billion or $80 million for one stick of cheese, dude. All right.
That must be a really good cheese.
I'm doing good, John.
I'm not sure what to do. Now, I've got to arraign him on the two newest charges. And from yesterday, you're charged in file 21729 with disorderly person. You're charged in file 21728 with disorderly person under city ordinance. Both of those are misdemeanors. They're punishable by up to 90 days in jail.
Somebody need to pay me $93 million for every day I stood in here. For a stick of cheese that was mine from the get-go. Not one, Judge. I'm sorry, bro, but I'm mad.
All right.
I ain't at home with my family, bro. Excuse me.
We're way past the cheese. This
know how to make cheese at West Ascension in Dowsonville on St. Patrick Street. That's why I learned how to make cheese with a marble. You look like I'm crazy? Because somebody stole my marble. You Judge Razoo. You know what Razoo is? I learned that at home.
Someone stole your marble.
One marble for me.
Well, I'm going to show you plead not guilty to the two new cases. Bond is $200 per case. Cash or surety set. Pretrial. City ordinance for next Tuesday, April 13th. And we're going to see what we can accomplish on a mental health petition between now and next Tuesday, which there were a number of people that had the power to do it, but everybody's going like this. I have discussed your case with Judge Tomlinson, the probate judge. I'm going to continue these pretrials to, next Tuesday is my pre-exam day. I'm going to set the 2 new cases for pretrial next Tuesday. This is Thursday. That's not a lot of time. If there can be some sort of mental health solution obtained, perhaps many or a lot of these cases can go away. I'm going to continue all cases to Tuesday, April 13th at 9 a.m. You've got 2 $200 bonds. I don't know if you can post them. Lisa, Mr. Barnes, Mr. Gibson are going to see about getting some assistance from community mental health. Maybe Harbor Oaks is a great place to go, or Hall and Oates. And if they can facilitate that, we can perhaps do that on Tuesday morning. But I'm not going to give you a PR bond. You have a history of not appearing, including several cases today that you didn't appear on. And everything is set for April 13th at 9 a.m. Mr. Gibson, hopefully you can be available then, but I don't want to leave him there indefinitely on these minor misdemeanors, but I'm fearful to let him out that we'll lose him track of him again.
I need my medicine, sir. How am I gonna get my medicine here?
I'll get that.
We'll work on that.
Is he still gonna be on a jail hold? Because
No,
a lot of places.
He's got 2 $200 bonds. If he could post the bonds, I guess he can get out.
Your Honor,
Dude, I'm military, bro, so
if I could ask Lisa and Paul Gibson to call me after we close out this court hearing, I'd like us to put our heads together and see what we can do about getting a petition done.
And we need to draw CMH into this.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Sergeant, I'll have that paperwork done here momentarily.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Paul, Lisa, give me a call, okay?
All right.
All right.
Paul, I thought about putting you in a breakout room with him. I thought that isn't going to accomplish anything. Let's see if we can get a petition started. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ooh-wee.
Got a record, Judge?
What do you need?
Well, I have someone who was, I just saw, I think they need an attorney because they have some mental health issues.
Well, that's what we've just been dealing with.
I wanted to.
Oh, he's free. Interesting conversation. Oh, another defendant with mental health problems is struggling at the jail also. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back. We've been having quite an afternoon here.
Oh, no.
Just another day in St. Joe County. Everybody in Branch County is law abiding and they don't have problems, but we've got people here that are struggling.
Yeah.
Miss Halleck was with us, and then we lost her to arraignments. She should be back momentarily. The last case we were dealing with, the defendant has like 18 cases that keep getting cited, and it really needs to be subject to a mental health petition rather than 18 criminal cases.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Miss Hensley. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, this is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse. We've met. Your
Yes,
lawyer, Melissa Halleck, is here with us, and our special prosecutor, she's very special, is here from Branch County. Her name is Nora Geiger, and she's been assigned to handle this case because of your previous relationship with Mr. Marvin being your lawyer before he was elected as prosecutor. You're charged with domestic violence. The allegation is that you assaulted Calvin Crespo on or about December 10th. There's also an allegation that you violated your bond by having contact with Calvin in violation of the no contact provision of the order. Now, I do know a little more about this than I would normally know. I know about you and Calvin because I handled the personal protection order hearing in this case.
Yes.
And I sent a letter to your lawyer and the prosecutor, and I can tell you this: you can't live with each other, and you can't live without each other. And you're pushing each other's buttons. And so first thing we have to do is this particular case, which alleges that you assaulted Mr. Crespo on or about December 10th. Is there a plea offer here?
Our office had made an offer of pleading under the 4A diversion.
Melissa, what's your client's position regarding that?
She's rejected that offer, and we're prepared to trial.
All right, she wishes a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Geiger, who does the state have for witnesses?
I believe I hadn't exactly set a witness list yet, but I believe probably the victim and maybe the officer.
The officer is Mike Candolph. Are there any photographs?
Not
And
as
I'm-
far as I am aware.
Are there any motions regarding prior acts or hearsay?
No.
Melissa, who do you have for witnesses?
I have Diane Hensley, which is my client's mother. Zoe Meister, Meister. She's a family friend of my client's. And then my client.
All right. Ms. Geiger, I'm sure you have the same problem in Branch County that we have here, which is the current inability to set a jury trial. So we're just putting them in a jury trial queue and trying to resolve some, and otherwise we'll be just having jury trials. So I'm going to set a jury trial. Now, there's the issue of your bond violation. It's a condition of your bond that you're not to have any contact with Calvin Crespo.
Yes.
The prosecutor has petitioned to allege that you violated that bond. Let me see if I can find it. The bond was set, a report was filed with Three Rivers Police on violation of the bond condition on 12/27, but no motion was filed as the case had not been yet assigned to the special prosecutor. Mr. Crespo again reported contact from the defendant on 3/16/21. She sent him messages through Facebook Messenger. Mr. Crespo contacted Three Rivers Police and Branch County Prosecutor's Office. He said that messages were harassing in nature, which is the other side of the coin when he wanted to talk to you in violation of the personal protection order. So if those allegations are true, they are a violation of your bond, and you can be found in contempt and held in custody for up to 90 days for violating the bond condition. And I got it some time ago, and I said, well, I'm not going to take any immediate action. I'm going to set this for hearing at the same time as this. You and I were here with Mr. Crespo on February 17th. He asked me to lift the restraining order, and I declined to do it. He was disappointed with that, but seemed to agree with it. Then his contention is that after that, you've been contacting him. Ms. Halleck, have you had an opportunity to discuss that with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I have, and she would deny any contact. We did review the motion and the exhibits together. We're prepared. We have evidence to be presented that, in fact, he's the one that he created a false Facebook profile. I think we have evidence that would demonstrate that. The December 27th date you mentioned, where she allegedly is trying to contact him, he left 2 lengthy voicemails at her place of employment. One is berating her first, then he calls back and apologizes, and we would have evidence to that. We have video recordings of him. He's not, I think he has some mental health issues in my opinion, but he sent messages to her friends and family.
Well, just a minute. Did she ever ask for a violation of the PPO for all that stuff?
She has, and she was told by the police department that it was not direct contact with her and that it wasn't a violation.
Which police department?
Which one is it that you're contacting? Is it Three River?
So I didn't contact the police department directly. What I did was when those voicemails came for my job, I contacted Jason Bingaman, I think, the one who served him. And he said that unfortunately it was just right before he was served, so nothing could be done. And then I didn't really know what to do about the Facebook posts, honestly, because he's not directly contacting me. He's just contacting everybody I know.
Yeah, we discussed that too, Your Honor. I recall that now. It's not, he's contacting her, the place of employment was prior to service of the PPO. And
Yes, I recall that.
yeah. So then the other things are he's just contacting her friends and family, not her directly.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Geiger, that was your petition to do something about it. What do you want me to do?
Your Honor, I think that you probably are more familiar with this situation than I am. I'm getting my information just from the victim. I will tell you that I got an email again from him yesterday indicating a friend of the defendant's contacted him via text message. It didn't appear, he sent me a copy of the message. It didn't appear that it came from the defendant, but was obviously a contact on behalf of the defendant. And I filed the motion just because I wanted to bring it in front of the court. I don't necessarily at this point am requesting that the defendant be lodged, but more as a warning and because the previous violation on the 27th of December was never filed with the court, more as a warning, like this contact needs to stop. And I'll have that conversation with the victim as well, and I know that my victim advocate has had that conversation with him, that he needs to, if there is contact, he needs to not respond. So I guess at this point I would filing the motion because I was told there was contact, but would be requesting the court just remind the defendant of the no contact order. And if I'm given any more information about any other future contact to the victim, then I would file the motion. At that point, I would be asking for her bond to be violated and her to be put in jail in contempt.
All right. Now, she denies she even did it and that he created a ghost account. That's not outside the realm of possibility. We may need expert testimony, but I think your course of action is probably appropriate. Simply an admonishment at this point. Danielle, I don't know if you're contacting him or not. If you are, that violates your bond. That you asked for the personal protection order and I granted it. He asked me to lift it and I listened to what both of you had to say and I left it in place because you wanted me to, you didn't want to have contact with him. He certainly is, I'll use the word, obsessed with you. He wanted to read that poem and he wanted me to allow him to tell you how he feels. That's not really what I'm here for. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't certainly want you to get hurt or him. And if you don't want any contact with him, then you've got the personal protection order in place. But it undermines the protection order if you're contacting him. Now you're denying that you're doing that. So if you aren't doing it, well then don't worry about it. If you have been doing it, stop. If for some reason you wish to lift the personal protection order, you can petition the court. But I heard you at some length and heard him. I thought he accepted what I said. He was disappointed, but he wasn't defiant. He was sad. The problem here is it's going to take months and months and months before we can ever try this matter in front of a jury. We have a number of previous cases ahead of this one, and we can't do any jury trials until we get the COVID situation under control.
I understand.
Ms. Geiger, it's going to be some months before we'll be able to do something. Certainly the parties are willing to, are welcome to continue to discuss settlement. Ms. Hensley, are you still at the address you were at here in Centerville?
Yes, and I did request that that not be released to Mr. Crespo. I spoke with a Samantha at the court, and she assured me that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's been made private. That's why I didn't put it out here.
Thank you. I appreciate
That was an issue at the PPO hearing. All right.
Question. Considering the length that this may last and because of a jury trial demand, and the information that I have that Mr. Crespo is creating fraudulent accounts to harass to bring her in front of the court and waste her time and her expense, it's causing a lot of anxiety and stress for her. Is there something that I could file to get this? If in fact I have evidence I could provide to the court that he did that. I mean, it's not okay to make false allegations of a crime, which a violation of the court's order.
Well, you don't need to present it. Now, it would violate the PPO. If you want a crime, you present it to the prosecutor or an investigating police agency. I don't have the authority to do a criminal investigation. I used to, but once they gave me this long black dress, I don't get to do that anymore.
Right.
So if you wish to pursue a personal protection order violation, I do have authority over that. Okay. But I don't know whether I don't have enough information to know who's right or who's wrong.
Right. That's what I'm thinking as a way to get that. So we will file a motion then for a violation of the PPO against him and get that information to the court, because it's not fair that she has to continually deal with this harassment and false profiles and being fraud. I mean, she was scared to death when she first got this motion. And so I think it needs to be addressed further. And I was just considering our options. So we will contact the police department and we will also file a motion.
All right, thank you. Ms.
Thank you,
Geiger?
Your Honor.
All right. Anything further we should address?
The only question I have, Your Honor, is whether I would be entitled to, or if I can know what police agency that report is filed with, because obviously if the information is accurate and based on the police department's investigation, what Ms. Halleck and her client are reporting to the court, I think that can have an impact on this case. But I might not necessarily get a copy of that police report. But obviously if I'm being told that the defendant is violating the no contact order and I'm not being told the truth, I would like to know that as well. So
Melissa,
maybe
could
that's
I
something
ask,
Ms. Halleck.
anything you file, you also file with the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. And in the past, I had not been in contact with Ms. Geiger. It was a different gentleman, and he was just not receptive to anything that I had sent him. I've sent numerous exhibits already. So, but I will certainly send those to Ms. Geiger.
Do you have that information? Was that someone at Branch County or someone in our county?
It was someone in Branch. I believe, I remember the gentleman's name, Zach, maybe.
All right. Well, he's the elected prosecutor. At any rate, if that's part of your file, then you should have that. Hopefully, you didn't just throw it out, but you may make part of a bigger record.
Just for the record, I do have those emails. They were forwarded to me because his name is assigned to all of the cases that come to our office, but I'm actually the one that handles the special prosecutor cases. So he did forward those emails to me. I will be honest, I haven't gone through them with a fine-tooth comb or anything, but he did forward those emails to me.
Okay. And I'll send the more recent things that I have that I think is even more clear-cut. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Danielle, you're free to go. Stay in contact with your attorney. It sounds like you're doing a good job of that. And don't have contact with him, okay?
I won't. Thank you, Your Honor.
I got some extensive notes to make on this. Thank you, Ms. Geiger.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Melissa, don't go yet.
Oh, okay.
I understand from what Casey told me that you and he have filed a stipulation to adjourn the Dustin Swope case.
Oh, did it get signed? I don't know. I did that 3 days ago, but
Well, it may have. It hasn't made it to me yet.
yeah,
Mr. Swope has been in custody for 268 days, but this occurred while he was in custody.
Right. Well, and what the stip and order said, Your Honor, was that Luke Knopfsinger has status conference set on his felony matters on May 3rd. And so I adjourned my recent one and had it set for the same day because I wasn't having any luck getting in touch with Luke to resolve anything. And his felony is the leading felony. And it's a package offer. So I can't do anything on my felony or my misdemeanor until his are resolved. So my hands are tied. So I know I asked the prosecutor if Luke doesn't plan on appearing today. I mean, there's nothing we can do really, even if he did, because it's his felony cases. I tried, I sent emails, phone calls, but he's going to have to deal with it before May 3rd, because that's when Mr. Swope's status is set on his felony matters.
Well, it is. Now, the problem with his case, normally he would be entitled to a bond after 180 days on a felony case unless his case is resolved. He's got a witness intimidation case, 20232573, with a $25,000 bond. He's got a domestic violence 2023402 FH with a $50,000 bond. He's got a criminal sexual conduct with assault with intent to commit penetration. I don't even think there is a bond in that case. And he's been in jail and the cases have not been resolved. He also has a felony probation violation. So this is down on the list of things he has to be worried about. All right, I'll look for the stipulation to adjourn and reset a last pretrial.
Yeah, I think hopefully we won't even have to hold it after May 3rd. But who knows? Oh, and do you know who does he have on that probation violation? I didn't realize he had that pending as well.
I can't tell from what I'm looking at.
Okay, I'll get in touch with Casey about the stip and order and then ask. He knows.
All right.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Anything further?
Nope.
All right, well, that finishes a long afternoon. I got to make some notes here on these cases. All right, thanks for your help.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, so rather than have the record continue to run, we're going to stop our live feed. We'll be back in the morning with Friday morning attorney pretrials. There are quite a few. In the afternoon, we have a busy docket of landlord-tenant matters. So we'll conclude this very busy day of legal proceedings.